Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we're going to be taking a look at, well, basically the Strength LR Ultimate, well, Beast Gohan I should say, not Ultimate Gohan. And we're going to see just how good he is at 55% in the Hidden Potential system. Gohan is a superhero's Bond, Master and Disciple or Miraculous Awakening lead of 170% with an extra 30% for those characters that belong to Entrusted Will or movie heroes. Gohan greatly raises attack and raises his defense 1 turn on his 12 key, whilst also greatly raising attack and raising defense for 4 turns on his 18 key. He has a unit super attack which can be activated if there is a Piccolo in rotation who is not a Piccolo Jr. This Piccolo will cause him to greatly raise attack and raise defense for 4 turns, the same as his 18 key, but he will also add a 20% increase for allies crit chance, as well as on top of that disabling the enemy's action once per turn. So pretty good stuff, to be honest with you. His passive is activates the entrance animation upon the character's entry and key plus 8 in chance of performing a critical hit, plus 40% in damage reduction of 40% for the first 5 turns from the start turn from the character's entry. He has key plus 3 attack and defense of 100 or 250%, and guards all attacks. He gets an additional attack of 50% when attacking, and if key is 24, his chance of performing a critical hit goes up by 20%. So that means for the first 5 turns you can have a 60% crit chance just by firing off a 24 key. He gets an additional defense of 80% when receiving an attack, and if key is 24, he reduces damage received by a further 20%. He gets an additional key plus 1 per key 3 obtained and launches an additional super attack and gives all allies key plus 3 within the same turn after receiving an attack. He gets an additional attack and chance of performing a crit plus 20% within the same turn and key plus 1 with each attack received, and his chance of performing a crit plus 20%, reduces damage by 20%, and all allies get key plus 2 starting from the turn in which he has received 5 attacks in battle. So honestly, pretty good stuff. Like, I'm going to be honest with you, he's pretty nuts. The big thing is he can have very high levels of damage reduction fairly easily as a unit. So because of how he works, because of everything like that, he can actually honestly have a very impressive amount of damage reduction all the way, and I think that's really, really good. He has guard as well, which is obviously really, really good, and on top of all of that, he basically has a very decent attack stat. Because even though he'll only look like he's hitting 10, 11, 12, 13 million, thing is he's critting pretty much every time guaranteed. So those attack stats hit a lot harder than they appear. Now, obviously, in terms of links, Gohan, all in the family, very crucial, same warrior race, infighter, shocking speed, repair for battle, fierce battle, and legendary power. Gohan shares a ton of links with the physical Gohan. So physical Gohan back in vogue, obviously, great second slot unit alongside this Gohan, and this Gohan solves the key issues. So seems like a pretty good pairing. In terms of categories on hybrid Saiyans, full power, movie heroes, Goku's family, etc. In terms of build, Gohan has a lot going on. I would assume that you want to do additionals, because Gohan already has such a high level of crit built into his passive. Additionals would be pretty cool, allowing him to score some more additional defense during the turn, as well as causing more damage. Some people like to go the route of evasion. Evasion can work out in certain instances, but also can be detrimental to you, as remember, a lot of your power comes from having Gohan hit, and so being able to avoid hits feels a bit counterintuitive to his functional design. But again, to each their own. You need to play and build your characters however you want, so it's not really something we can control. Now, of course, he also has his active skill. His active skill is something that's actually really, really helpful and allows him to essentially, to cut a long story short, have a very good start to the game, or alternatively something to come in clutch. So Gohan can redirect all attacks towards him. You can use this in multiple ways. One of those ways is to obviously just use the ability as a way to build your own levels of defense, which is fine. like I said, it's entirely up to you. And so if you want to build up your levels of defense more than anything else, it's not a problem. I think for a lot of players, you don't have to feel bad if you are someone that is essentially, looking to like use his active skill to rather build up your like functional defensive levels. So that's something you can do. But on top of that, you could also use it when you want to just draw the attacks from a very hard hitting enemy. Gohan's probably one of the best defensive units in the game. Guard plus 60% damage reduction tends to do that to you. So what that means is Gohan can be used to kind of tank up when you're feeling especially very vulnerable. Gohan's ability to soak up damage can be incredibly helpful for players overall. So I think for me, 100%, you can consider what Gohan does to be crucial in a lot of ways. And I think that's one of the huge benefits of having Gohan, trying to use Gohan, integrating Gohan. I think it's just this ability for him to really just be like insane, like insanely powerful, and to really control the flow of the enemy. With how hard enemies hit now, it's actually really, really difficult to warrant sometimes putting a unit in harm's way. It is not so easy, because the chances are nowadays most units will just get blown up. With Gohan, that risk is removed, and you can actually very successfully place him in that direction and feel comfortable doing so, because you have faith pretty strongly that he's not going to let you down. So in this way, I think it's really, really good, and I think it's something that's really, really important, and it's a huge factor in determining why Gohan is so good at a fundamental level. So yeah, look, aside from that, I think that's pretty much it. Honestly, like, aside from that, I would say Gohan is great. Link-wise, he's solid enough as well. Shocking speed, all in the family, same warrior race, legendary power, fierce battle, and prepared for battle. He's got a decent link set. His best linking partner is physical ultimate Gohan, and I also think there's nothing wrong with that. Gohan gives an immense amount of ki from his passive, and that's so helpful for units like Gohan, so helpful for units like Piccolo. They all of a sudden don't have ki issues, and this changes how they perform dramatically, especially Gohan, who, I don't want to say was like terrible, because I loved him, but the fact that he now can reliably get all of his ki off and get his attacks off and things like that is huge for him as a unit. So yeah, I think overall really good stuff. I think for me, Gohan, even at 55%, you can feel how good he is, and I think that's testament to how well the character is designed. I think he'll age well. Guard and damage reduction tend to do that, but obviously dupes will help with that, in general, but dupes will help. But yeah, I think that's pretty much it from me. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please leave a like. It is always appreciated. But yeah, that's basically going to be it from me.